I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. Um, yeah, do you want to start with roll?
Sure, I'll start with roll tonight. So I have myself, Kyla Leonards, Brenna Davis, Chet Krauser, Chris Lounsbury, Commissioner Vero, Karen Hughes, Maddie Scott, Bonnie, I assume that's Bonnie Roberts, Emily Herndon, Frankie Feinstein, Jane Kipp, Logan Nugent, MCAT, Sue Holden, and Tom Browder.
Thanks so much, Kyla. And I have to jump at 7:30 for another meeting. So, but I think this is a light agenda, so we'll get through this.
Sounds great.
And I think, are we doing community councils?
Yeah, so I'm pretty much the only one on the agenda. I have a quick little presentation for some council reminders, so I can go ahead and get started. Let me just share my screen here. All right, can everyone see my screen?
Looks good for me.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes. Looks good.
Great. Thank you for the confirmation. So I'm just here to just do kind of my annual overview of the things that we need to remember. So I'll just start with my first slide, which is about our vacancies. So special district election update. On March 11th, the commissioners did cancel some special district and community council elections. And some new council members were elected via acclamation, so they had unopposed candidates for those races. So this is just an opportunity for you to update your community on an upcoming meeting, on an agenda, just of any membership changes, so everyone's aware. And those terms start June 1st. So if you can do an update before that meeting, that would be wonderful. Oaths of office. Every new member beginning a new term needs to do an oath of office. So there's a fillable template on our website. And our office at Lands and Communities is happy to help out or assist in any way and get those oaths prepped for you. We can print them or just email you a copy so you can print them off. And if you need help finding a notary or something like that, please reach out because we do have the ability to come to a meeting and help with those notary needs. Once those oaths are completed, they need to be sent to the clerk and recorder's office to be recorded, and then notify the commissioner's office that the oath have been completed. And that's just for record tracking purposes, so that we know that all those new members have completed their oaths on time. Training, another thing that all members have to do, whether at the beginning of each new term. We have an upcoming board training in person, Tuesday, April 8th at 4. Please spread this far and wide to your community and to any of your council members. It's great training. If you do attend, please make sure that you do sign in. This is a way that we can track that you have done and completed your training. If you are unable to make this in-person training, we also have them recorded. So if you do watch your training, make sure that you're filling out that certificate of training and submitting that to the commissioner's office for Maddie to track. Again, if we don't know that you took it, it's really hard for us to know and keep track of that. Maddie, did you have a question?
Yeah, more like a comment. It is online for Teams as well, and I did send out a link with a save the date last week.
Thank you so much, Maddie. So again, just I might be reaching out after the fact just to kind of around June, just to kind of track who's taken those trainings and keep track of that. We're still working on the council handbook. We had a few changes we needed to make to it last year with some stuff that got updated, but we're really hoping to get that and a good copy to all of you very, very soon. Lands and Communities really does a lot of data collection and tries to keep on top of things since you are an entity and an arm of the commissioner's office. So one thing that we would really like you guys to do is please, please, please send us who your chair, vice chair, treasurer, and secretary are yearly or when they change. It's really, we're the point of contact with the commissioner's office. A lot of internal county folks are always asking us who the chair is, who the vice chair is, who the best person to connect with is. So it's really good when we get those updates from you. It's super appreciative. We've also been tracking some information, again, just for record keeping about your bank information, your EIN. If I reached out to you and I haven't heard back, I'll probably reach out again. We just really need to keep that on file for our records. Just another quick note about meetings, agendas and minutes. They need to be available to the public. All minutes and agendas get sent to the Lands and Communities office. Please make sure that we're part of your distribution list when you're sending those out. We like to see your agendas 7 days, 1 week before your meeting. And then we like to see those meeting minutes once they're approved 7 days after that approval. And then our office will send your approved minutes to the clerk and recorder's office to be recorded, which is a requirement for minutes as well. So if you have any questions or concerns, or if I'm missing some, and I will definitely reach out. So from time to time, you'll hear from me trying to do some good record keeping. And then just our contact information again. I know you guys probably have it, but the commissioner's office, and then the Lands and Communities office. And then I just have another thank you. Thank you for all you do. You are our outlet into our rural communities, and we just couldn't do it without you. So short and sweet. Any reminders or any questions? Yeah, Tom.
So I've been to, I think it's Dan who does the training, and it's fine for, what Montana code required in terms of record keeping. But to me, what we really need as councils now is something that helps describe what you're going to do. And that's not part of the training, right? In other words, if we have new council members, how do they know? Can they apply for grants? Can they not? What can they actually do? Can they sponsor another organization? I just think this kind of how to run an effective, not how to run, really how to do your strategic planning for what you want to do as a council, beyond, apart from what the law, which is fine. The training's really good for that. I mean, maybe it's another training module you all could do for us. Could certainly be virtual, I think.
Thanks, Tom. I really appreciate that feedback. A few years ago, we had Dan Clark do a community council only training. I don't know if you were able to attend that one, but it's certainly something that we can discuss again to make something that's more pertinent to the councils.
I mean, I think it would help, especially with all the things going on now, and we have some new folks joining. It would just, I think, a council only, like how to run a good council, would be a good thing to have. I don't know what the other members feel about it, but it would certainly help us up here in Seeley Lake.
And Dan Clark is excellent. I think that's a great idea, Tom.
Yeah, that sounds great. We can certainly put it in the docket. I know the last one wasn't super well attended. I don't know if it was just a timing issue, but definitely try to find a time and date that would work best for council so we can get that on the books.
What was the last one, Kyla? Was that in Missoula, or how did that last one work? Was it over?
It was hybrid, similar to what we do now. So it was in person and a virtual option in I believe the Sophie Moise room is where we hosted it. Chet?
Yeah, this has been a while ago now. Some of you may have been on councils though to remember this. It was prior to COVID, because it was prior to doing these monthly community council meetings for all community councils. But we used to do just kind of a county-based training that talked, I think, more about the things you're asking about, Tom, that are more kind of county relationship function stuff that probably isn't so much Dan Clark's training, but more of like helping us go through things that probably live in the handbook, Kyla. So maybe we could talk a little bit about putting those things together. And in the meantime, I think some of the points you brought up, Tom, are good ones. If others have questions along those same lines and they wanted to send them our way, we could certainly do something to help answer those. Because we see enough change in councils where probably having those updates and a little bit more of an orientation, if you will, to being a council member from Missoula County would probably be a helpful thing.
Good. Yeah, I think we'd appreciate that.
Anyone else have any questions or comments? Okay. Certainly reach out as questions arise. We're here as a resource for you. So just know that. Commissioner Vero, would you like me to go ahead and start the round robin?
Yes, please. Thanks so much. We're rocking through this.
We are. So I see that Reagan joined. Reagan, do you have anything for West Valley?
Yeah, so last meeting we just had, sorry, I'm gonna keep my camera off. I should have started with that. I'm under the weather, so excuse the voice too. So at the last meeting, Jerry gave us a bunch of updates. Admittedly, I missed most of those because we were having some technical difficulties with the smart board equivalent thing that we use at the fire hall. So I can't tell you what those updates were, but then our speaker for the night was actually my dad, who's the maintenance supervisor for Frenchtown School District, was giving us an update on the boiler system because that was brought up by a member of the community last month. So had a great presentation about that, and that was really it.
Thank you. I don't see anyone on from Swan Valley. So we'll go ahead to Sealy. Tom?
See, I'll turn my camera on so you can see the nice trees behind us. Snow is mostly gone. We're just haven't seen any bears yet, but we think we'll see that pretty soon. I mean, our big news, we had some very irate residents in November, January, February about the drug problems, which we're not getting much help on, urban decay, just the place that are detrimental of this community, hypodermics by the grade school, all this stuff. I've talked about it before. We do have a group that it's not really sponsored by the council, but it emerged from our January meeting. And it's been remarkably robust. They meet every month and they're starting a Crime Stoppers program up here. I think they've already got some signs up. And yeah, the idea is we know that with the 2 or 3 of these known drug dens, we just are going to inundate 9/11 and the sheriff's department. And they appreciate this with every incident that happens, just to build the awareness. May 3rd, this group has scheduled a community cleanup day where they will have some 40-foot containers. We've already got local businesses that have agreed to provide the space and volunteers. So on that weekend, people can say, I've got old this, old that, bunch of junk, and it will be picked up and taken and gotten rid of. That group has, I think, put in for an impact grant, $4,000. But I don't know if they'll know the decision on that beforehand. But, like some of us told them, you just got to do it, because for something like $3,000 or $4,000 to not do something of that magnitude would be crazy. So we'll just deal with it. So that group is good. We like that. Yeah, so that's kind of what's happening up here. It's still economically, it's a bit depressed because the mill's gone and it was an okay winter, not as disastrous as last winter, but I would say that snowmobiling and Nordic skiing will be pretty much put to bed pretty soon. But yeah, we're hoping to have in the April meeting, we're going to see if some county folks will come up. I did work with Shane Sack on some letters of support for Senator Sheehy's office about possible money for the Boy Scout Bridge. There are two more community engagement meetings for the sewer board, one in April, one in May, which the first one they did in March was well attended. It was sponsored by the Community Foundation, not the council. There's a bit of concern because those of you that follow national politics, which is maybe everyone, but which is maybe the earmarks all went away and there was $18 million for Seeley Lake Sewer, but it's just totally unclear where that's going to be. But that's kind of what's happening up here. You know, we're getting ready to starting to plan for the 4th of July. So yeah, things are good.
Thanks, Tom. I believe Angela has hopped on for Lolo. Did you have any updates for us tonight?
Danica didn't provide me with anything that I saw. I could just say our last meeting, or the meeting we had in March, we did have Missoula County come out, talk to us about the growth plan and policy, and we're going to try and put together a few citizens and members of the council to start kind of looking at that and biting it a little bit at a time and add it as a regular monthly agenda item for discussion and try and get through that and start. There's been some interest about zoning in our area and things of that nature. Of course, we have the Lolo Water and Sewer District discussions going on with Shane Stack with Public Works. He will be at our meeting in April to present the findings and information from the working group that's been meeting for a year or more, and some projects that are moving forward currently with the Lolo Water and Sewer. And that's kind of been the big thing there. And then MDT was also at our meeting to talk about the Highway 93 to Florence corridor study and discuss the changes that will be coming. I believe it's years down the road, but things that they were looking at to help in Highway 93 between Missoula and Florence. And then we also had 406 Engineering at our meeting in March, who presented development for the old Lolo School area. They'll be able to put in 56 single-family units in there under the current guidelines, and they could just kind of went through their presentation at our meeting in March. So that was pretty much the meeting in March, and I suspect we'll have a fairly large meeting in April with Shane Stack on the Lolo Water and Sewer District information.
Thanks.
I think that's all I can think of. Thank you.
Thank you. East Missoula, Sue.
Hello. Oh gosh, everybody had such busy March meetings. Shane Stack is a busy fella. He was at our meeting as well. We talked, he gave us the results of a recent speed study, excuse me, that was for Highway 200 all the way to West Riverside and Bonner. And it looks like it's going to be a go-ahead for the speed to be reduced along the Highway 200, kind of by the old original Chevron parking by the new parking lot, you know, because on the other side of that is residential. So we've got the speed study finally posted on our Facebook page, so it's out there if anybody wants to go look at it. And he also talked to us about the proposed Summer Street construction project, and of course that's kind of on pause as well because of the Aspire situation. we talked about getting a hold of the congressional delegation about support for the Highway 200 corridor project. So I have information on the Facebook page about that as well. That's something that's been being worked on for quite some time. And it's critical that that support continue, just because of the impact that it has to not only East Missoula, but part of East Broadway from Van Buren through East Missoula, particularly there by the railroad overpass, or underpass. I'm not sure how you want to call that. But that's a tremendous safety hazard right there at the railroad overpass. So it was a long meeting. And in speaking with Shane since, he is going to stop by our April meeting, hopefully, with the new Public Works Director to introduce him. And so I think they're going to be stretched pretty thin for April Community Council meetings. And then we had the executive director from the Friends of the Children shelter that is housed in the old Mount Jumbo School. He came and spoke of their program, which is a really good program as well. And other than the miscellaneous ongoing stuff that we always talk about, it was just a very busy and productive meeting. And we also have our own YouTube channel now. So our meetings will be posted to that YouTube channel the day after our meeting. So anybody that can't make it to the regularly scheduled meeting, they now have an opportunity to go and watch the meeting the next day on our YouTube channel. So that was exciting to get that up and going. And that's about it.
Thanks, Sue.
Thanks, Kyla.
Let's see, Clinton, Frankie, or Bonnie?
Bonnie, do you want to start?
Sure. Well, first of all, we were notified by Mike Loftus that we have a new superintendent at school that was interviewed. I think there was 4 or 5 candidates, and the public had an opportunity at 4:30 in the evening to come out and ask questions or whatever. I think they'll go into their new position in June 30th of this year. We had Gary Evans from the Clinton Community Bible Church come out and speak to us about their facilities and some of the meetings that they have open to the public. They have quilting groups. They offer AA meetings for those that are local in the area that really don't like to go all the way into Missoula. They also offer balance classes for seniors. And they talked about their room rentals for things like family events, group meetings, birthday parties, reunions, and stuff like that. They also talked about programs that serve the community, such as Hands of Harvest. They do Thanksgiving meals and Christmas assistance to family members. We also talked about offering some kind of program for the kids that don't have food opportunities during the time that school is out. So I think he's going to look into talking to our local food bank and see if they can't get together with offering the kids something during the time that school is out. Again, the Missoula County does have the Project Day in Missoula on the 3rd of May. I don't think we're still collecting cereal boxes for the PTA. And next month, we're going to have Reagan Meacham speak to us at our meeting. So we're looking forward to that. And that's all I have to say. Frankie?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to add a big thank you to Bonnie and to Chris Hanley, who have re-upped for another term on the Community Council. So they are finishing up their 2-year term, and they each will now have a 3-year term. So that's very much appreciated. Yeah, and the other thing that the Clinton Church wanted to let us know is that it's a great facility if, for example, if Clinton School needs to be evacuated, that they are big enough to take in the school kids, and if some other community disaster were to come along, that would be a good gathering place, and that they have space to for rent, probably if you wanted a family reunion or something like that. I hope I'm not repeating what Bonnie said. And then, yeah, thank you, Reagan, for hopefully we'll get to see you in April. We are thinking about changing our meeting date. Just the third week of the month often falls, like last week it was spring break, and so someone had to come open the school, especially for us. And it just seems like things seem to happen that third week of the month. So in April, it's the Thursday we would meet as parents teacher conferences. So we're looking at changing our date for that. And then lastly, I just wanted to ask, we were talking about upcoming topics, and we too would like to have someone come out and talk to us about the county growth problem. I know that he talked at one of our previous meetings, but I can't remember who it is that I should contact. And also for June, we were wondering if someone from the county might be available to come out and walk our folks through your website, the county website. We take July and August off, so we wanted folks to know where to go in case something came up over the summer, that they would know how to look around on that site. And we all could use a refresher too. So who did, off the top of head, who does someone know who I would contact about county growth?
Yeah, Chet, is that a Varney sort of thing, or
Yeah, yeah,
or Karen?
and Karen's on too.
That would be me.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
And we've
the
talked
short
to
answer
Karen
is
about that.
yeah, the short answer is yes, and it's coincidentally Kyla is the keeper of most things in our office, so she can easily access pretty much most folks on that list. The other thing that I'll mention too, Frankie, is the commission. It's been a crazy schedule, but the commission still has the survey information that you all collected. So Kyla and I were just talking today about some of those topics, and we're going to send you a few ideas here probably in the next few weeks of maybe how to tackle some of those topics. And you may have a few other contacts we can help make for future meetings. But I'll hand it over to Karen to talk a little bit more if she has some more information on the growth policy stuff.
Oh, okay.
And Frankie, just you wanted to talk about county growth and planning did you have a particular month in mind?
Well, we were thinking of May, if you're available, and I don't know that we will change our date that fast for our meeting, so it would be the third Thursday of the month.
Okay. Well, Frankie, I'll get in touch with you and we'll get something worked out. I won't be available, but I think I'll see if Ian in my office can help figure that out for you.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll work on that.
All right.
And then is there anyone with the technical patience to work with us on walking us through the website?
Yeah, maybe Kyla and I can touch base on that, Frankie. And part of the difficulty, I'm sure, is that the website is a little out of date and it is hard to navigate. In fact, we're working on updating the website. It won't be immediate, so it's not something that's probably worth waiting for. But Kyla and I can maybe put our heads together as far as what sorts of things to maybe point out to folks, because it sounds like you're going to be looking for resources in the summertime. If you don't find stuff on the website, by all means, I hate to put Kyla's name out there again, but feel free to reach out. Sometimes it really is hard to find what you're looking for, and we can help with that too. But we'll see if we can put something together to try to answer some of those basic questions.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much. And I think that's it for me. So thank you.
Thanks, Frankie. Yeah, we'll connect with the comms team, and Brenda's on the line too. So we'll find a way to connect with that for your communication side.
Oh, great. Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh. Next up is Bonner.
This is Jane Kipp. We had
Hi,
a
Jane.
meeting. We had a meeting on March the 10th, at which they had a Bonner history tidbit concerning the Copper King William A. Clark, who built the Milltown Dam, and had a lot to do with the Western Lumber Company. We had two speakers. One was the Marshall Mountain Park Manager, Jackson Lee, who gave an update on what they're doing with the park. And the other one was Natalie Sullivan of the Extension Office, who spoke about large animals during disasters and what people could do to protect the animals. They said that the main reason that people don't evacuate during an emergency is because they don't know what to do with their animals. And plenty of people around here have them. So then there was a discussion about the community development update. A man named Greg Morse has purchased a log yard next to the mill, and he intends to put about 100 or 256 homes on that site. So what they're talking about is having a future community development meeting at which he and some of the other people who are doing developments around Bonner would like to come in and talk. It hasn't been set yet, but they think April or May. I gave an update on the train quiet zone that we were trying to get something started. I approached the county and asked if we could get a survey so that anybody out in the county could tell us if they were concerned about the train noise. And the county refused. They said they didn't have any idea how it would be funded, and therefore there was no purpose in having a survey. So I'm going to have to try another way of getting a survey for that. And we also had a discussion about the impact grants. We handed in two, one for a cleanup day in May, and the other one was for the Bonner History Center to, they have received the original safe from the mill. Some guy went out and restored it in Oregon. He's given it back, but the building that they have for the History Center is inadequate for a heavy safe, so they're going to put it back out at the mill somewhere. And to do all of that, they just needed a little grant. And that was it.
I have
Thanks,
nothing to
Jane.
add. Thanks,
Thanks,
Jane. I
Emily.
appreciate it.
Okay, that wraps up our round robin. I did want to make a note during my presentation, during the special district filing. I just wanted to make another note, and I put it in the chat, that there is a new resourcing guide on special district filing specific to write-in candidates. It's on our website, on the information for candidates page on the election site, but I've also dropped it as a PDF and I'll send it out to everybody. But I just wanted to make sure that everyone knew that that was out there. We did have several councils with write-in candidates this year, so just a one-page clarification on how that works. And back to you, Commissioner Vero. I think we're wrapped up for the night.
Wow, this might be the fastest all community councils we've ever done. So thank you all, and hope everyone can get out and enjoy a little bit of sunshine on this incredibly warm evening. We'll talk to you next week or next month,
Great.
rather.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.